Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jump and today I'll be reviewing the Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 Collection Bundle, which was released back on the 2nd of October of 2025. Now, this is basically a sort of like I think a sort of like a bit of a remastered version of the Galaxy games in which Mario has to basically save Peach from Bowser, who has stolen a bunch of Power Stars and has gone to the center of the galaxy to basically try and rule the entire universe. And yeah, and these are basically, as I said, remastered versions of Galaxy 1 and 2. And they're also similar to the Super Mario 3D All Stars collection that we got a while back. But instead of having Super Mario Galaxy 1, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario 64 in one collection, it's both Galaxy 1 and 2. And yeah, and there are some quality of life updates. So, for example, the game runs a whole lot more smoothly. Whenever you enter a new galaxy, the title or the welcome to the new galaxy font changes slightly, and whenever you exit a galaxy, there will be an autosave feature this time, and you can still save and quit whenever you want. But the auto feature or the auto save feature is basically it just helps. It basically just happens every time you exit a galaxy, which is a lot of help and just saves so much time because every time you exit a galaxy or you do a particular mission, you have to save manually every single time. So the autosave feature is a big help to when it comes to this. And there's also, apart from those two major sort of like updates you can find in the game, and that's being the storybook element to the games. Now, in Galaxy 2, there wasn't really that much of a story when it comes to like the storybook element because the storybook telling was much more of a Galaxy 1 treatment, and now I think after World 3 or 4 you can be given the storybook element of the game, but instead of looking or going through Rosalina's story in Galaxy 2, it's more on Lubba's backstory, and that's really cool because with Lubba, we never really got to see a whole lot of her backstory because the only thing we knew about Lubba was that she was the captain of the Starship Mario, basically Starship Mario before Mario came into the picture for the Galaxy 2 game. And with Rosalina's backstory, we do get to see a new prologue, or an epilogue to her story, and it's really cool and it's really sweet. We just see Rosalina in the bedroom of the story, and it just shows her comforting the Lumas, which I think is really nice and really sweet. And yeah, with Lubba, as I said before, she's basically trying to find her twin sister, and who basically became, I believe it was a comet. It's either a comet or a galaxy. No, it was a comet. Yeah, who became a comet because if you've played Galaxy 1 or 2, you will know that the Lumas will become galaxies or planets or comets when their lifespan is up, and they then become those things. And yeah, with Lubba's backstory, it's really nice and sweet because it starts off with Lubba and her sister just having fun with each other, playing games, that sort of stuff. But then when Lubba's sister becomes a comet, it's Lubba wants to figure out why her sister became a comet, and then we see Lubba sort of like becoming the captain of her own ship and of her own band of Lumas and that sort of stuff. So it's really cool. And when it comes to the main game itself, it's really fun. It continues or keeps the whole thing of the whole spin attack sort of system. You going through a bunch of galaxies all the time, and you can also play this game in handheld mode, which I haven't used as much, but I do because I mainly prefer the whole motion control stuff. And also, as I said in my second episode of my Mario Galaxy 1 Let's Play, the Galaxy games were much more focused on, or were built around the motion controls as a whole. So yeah, and now it's time for some gameplay. So when it comes to both Galaxy games, as you can see with Galaxy 1, they basically run a lot smoother than with the original Wii versions. And yeah, because like with the Wii versions, they were fun to play, but when it comes to like how they like run in terms of how whenever you're playing them and when you're seeing on screen, it's basically a kind of like night and day sort of, in the sense that I'll quickly put up a screenshot of the Wii version, and you can kind of see that when it comes to the graphics, you can kind of see where how better, you could say, that the Switch version runs than the Wii version, because the Switch version has basically a much more powerful console than the Wii. So yeah, and I think that's quite cool. And also, I'm going to quickly show you assist mode when it comes to this game. So when it comes to assist mode, you will always start off with 6 hit points. So I think that's kind of useful for people who might be playing this game as their first Mario game. So that means it'll take, you can still have fun, but like it'll take longer for you to like lose a life. And I think also, if you jump off a ledge, you can get rescued, but it will also make you lose a hit point. So it does help with like you getting the extra hit points and stuff. And again, I think it's really helpful if this might be somebody's first Mario game. So if someone got like a Switch or Switch 2 and this is one of their first games for it, then I'll suggest I'm having assist mode on, just so you can have like experience the game, so you can get more confident with jumps and stuff. Because the Galaxy games, you can do a lot of really cool experimentation with the levels. So like you can jump from like one level or one area of the level to the next with nothing but your jumps. And so let's say I wanted to try and climb up this particular thing. I can jump, but then let's say I, for example, miscalculated. I can then be saved in assist mode, and then I can try again, and then that's a whole lot better. But yeah, I would say when it comes to assist mode, always try experimenting. Always try and use assist mode and try and experiment with assist mode if you're like not that confident with certain areas or certain levels, that sort of thing. And then when you're feeling a lot more confident, you can always you can then turn off assist mode to be in regular mode, which is basically just you have 3 hit points instead of 6, and but you won't be saved by the bubble. And there's one more thing I want to quickly show you in Galaxy 1. So the last thing I want to show you is Rosalina's storybook, because this is probably the most well-known thing about Galaxy 1, because it does give a lot of backstory to Rosalina and how she became the mother of all the Lumas. And in the original game, or in the Wii game, you had basically 9 chapters. So chapter 1 starting with the Celestial Duo, and then finally finishing off with chapter 9 with the final chapter, Family. And in Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 collection, it gets an extra one, so which that being the epilogue, Good Night. And this basically just shows you like the conclusion of Rosalina's story, and like how she's now looking after all of these Lumas, which I think is a very good epilogue, because it basically just finishes off basically her story of how she became the mother of the Lumas, and just concluding her story as a whole. And if you do want to unlock this final bit of the story, or for Rosalina, you will have to beat the game. Basically getting 60 stars for you to unlock the final boss. Fight the final boss, and then do one of the purple comets. It doesn't matter which one you do when it comes to unlocking the purple comets, when you do unlock them. But when you do one of the levels that have a purple comet, it doesn't really matter which one you do. Just do that one, and then you unlock this final story for Rosalina. So, yeah, which I think is quite nice. And now I'm going to quickly show you Galaxy 2. So with Galaxy 2, there isn't that much difference if you compare it to the original Wii version, apart from the higher graphics, that sort of thing. But there are a few differences, that being assist mode, which I talked about already. There's also a difference with the bank toad. Now, in the original Wii version, you could store up, or you could save up star bits with the bank toad, but you can't really do that. And the bank toad will only give you a hint about using the amiibo to give you more star bits. And also, unlike with the original Wii version, the Switch version of Galaxy 2 does give you an extra bit of detail. That being Lubba's story. Now, Lubba, we didn't really know much about her in the original Galaxy 2 game for the Wii. The only thing we knew about her was that she was the leader of her own band of Lumas, and with Lubba's story, it basically tells the story of Lubba. But there's only 4 chapters, which I think is quite nice, and it basically tells the story of Lubba and her sister, and which I think is quite nice, because like with this chapter, for example, it shows you it basically shows you the final chapter of Lubba's sister, Mari, and it basically shows Mari just interacting with some different characters, and stuff like that, and which I think is quite cool. And I'm going to quickly show you a chapter for part of Lubba's main story. So with Lubba's story, she was called Lu, but like at the end of her story, she becomes Lubba. And what I like about Lubba is that she starts off as like a tiny Luma, but then over the course of her story, when you look through the pages or through the book, she becomes the lovable Lubba that we all get to see and interact with throughout the course of the game. And I think that's really cool, and we also get to see a glimpse of Rosalina in Lubba's story, which I think is quite nice. And Rosalina tells Lubba about because Lumas in the Mario games, or the Mario Galaxy games, tend to comets, galaxies, planets, that sort of thing. It's basically Rosalina tells Lubba why her sister left and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just a really cool way of just giving more personality to Lubba, and how she became the leader of basically this entire ship of Lumas before Mario came, before the main events of the main game. And as a whole, it's still the same Galaxy 2 game. I think it's quite cool. I think the loading time is a bit faster whenever you go out to the world map. So I think this might be a bit faster whenever you're going into a particular area. But yeah, as a whole, it's still a fun, enjoyable game. I do like both Galaxy games. I think they're really cool fun, and I think the Switch versions does make make the games a whole lot more fun. So yeah, so that's been it for the gameplay. Now it's going to go back to the review. So, as a whole, the Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 collection is a whole lot of fun. If you haven't had the chance to experience the games, you can get them. And if you've played Galaxy 1 through the 3D All Stars collection, then I highly suggest you get Galaxy 2, because you can get these games either separately or together, and I mainly got them together because really cool to experience the whole upscale stuff and of both games and stuff like that. But also mainly want to look at the new basically look through the new chapter of Rosalina's backstory, which I thought would be really cool to see and how it's done and stuff like that. And yeah, the Galaxy games, they're really fun, they're really enjoyable games, and I highly suggest you get the games or Galaxy 2, depending on if you've played the first game through the 3D All Stars or not. But yeah, they're both really good games. I highly suggest you play them. And yeah, if you haven't played them yet, I highly suggest that suggest you play them, because they're both really good games and they're really both good fun experiences to play through. And they're some of the best modern Galaxy games, or modern Mario games, I should say, in the more modern Mario hit when it comes to the 3D games as a whole. So yeah, so that's been my review for the Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 collection. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.